Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing fantastic. So, I guess just to get things out of the way, I want to talk a little bit about the Switch 2. The Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2 was the other day, and yeah, just wanted to do a short little stream to kind of discuss things on uh honestly, it's kind of hard to put to words because I have mixed feelings on the Switch 2, and I made a poll for you guys on those who follow me on X and those of you who follow me on YouTube, and here I'll pull the polls up for you guys. So here I gotta move myself a little bit just to make it a little bit easier to see. I don't know if you guys can see it that well, but so on the YouTube side of things, it looks like you guys are like split down the middle on exactly what you're excited about. Some of you are more looking forward to the new specs, which honestly, on one hand, all the updates they've given to this model versus what the original Switch had. Better visuals, better graphics, and if I remember correctly, they said a better battery life. I believe. And which honestly is gonna be a lot better. It's like you're traveling or whatever, and your Switch only dies after like 2 hours. Then you gotta close it, wait until you get to like a hotel or something to charge it. It kind of sucks, but yeah, YouTube, you're pretty much right down the middle of everything. Over on X, it looks like you guys are more looking forward to the games, the Nintendo. Sorry, my brain is going faster than my mouth can speak. But yeah, so all right, hold on, let me gather my thoughts here. Gotta let my brain slow down a little bit. Okay, I think I got my thoughts straightened out. But yeah, no, yeah, mostly mostly looking forward to the Switch 2 exclusive games. As you can see from my post, I'm personally more looking forward to the GameCube games myself, just because as a kid video games were a luxury item for my family. We more focused on purchasing things that we needed versus what we wanted. Just that's how we were raised, and money was tight for the most part. The only time I really got to play on GameCube was I went over to someone's house, so like a friend's or a family member who they just so happened to have a GameCube. So that was just one of those very rare moments. So hearing this announcement that they were gonna have GameCube games added to the Switch 2, really got me excited, because here on the normal Switch, I got the Game Boy, N64, Super Nintendo, all that other fun jazz, and the announcement for the new Mario Kart game, Mario World. The concepts for that game, you'll find really intriguing. It actually looks really fun. But then I saw the pricing for that. It's like, excuse me, you're charging how much for the Switch 2? That is almost insane. Like, what was it, like 80 US dollars for the digital copy, and what was it, oh yeah, 90 for the physical copy. And it's, and I mean, to an extent I understand, just because, like, from all of the sorry guys, I'm having a little issues here with my model. I need to look at some things here quick. Okay, there we go. Everything is back to normal now. All right, where was I? Oh yes, the pricing for the games for the Switch 2. Like, again, like, I understand, it's probably just all the upgrades and everything, to try to make the console a lot better than the first Switch. That stuff is not cheap, and I'm not an expert on that type of hardware and stuff, but to put all that amount of technology into a console game like that, and if I remember when I was reading up on it, just to make sure I was getting my information correctly, it's supposed to be, the hardware is supposed to be on par with the PlayStation 5. That's what they say. Now, is that going to be actually, that's something else entirely. But yeah, this, things just been getting increasingly more expensive over the years. Like, when you look at games pricing today's versus way back, early 2000s, there was a bit of a difference. Games weren't at, I mean, for the time, you could argue that those were expensive, but yeah, no, the Switch 2, it's like, of course, the console itself was like, let's see, like, $450 when you include plus tax. And like, really at this point, the only Switch 2 game that I would be more than happy to get would be Mario Kart World. And yeah, that's really like the only game I would be interested in playing. But the fact that they also mentioned how, yeah, it was gonna, wait, did they say it that during the direct, or I can't remember. I know when I read it, followed the video up on an article just to make sure I got my facts right. They did say it was gonna be backwards compatible with quite a few regular Switch games. Now, which ones at this point we do not know, but I would be more than happy if maybe the Xenoblade games were back compatible with the Switch 2. That's just me. Something that they said that I did not realize with the regular Switch was that apparently the Switch had in-game microphone or whatever. You could talk to other players through the Switch. I honestly did not know that. but the Switch 2 supposedly improves on that, improves the better quality. I mean, it even comes with a mic if you get the mic, which I think is kind of pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of things you can discuss about the Switch, like yeah, it's like some of the okay, hold on. I'm looking something up here quick, guys. What am I looking up? Uh, Actually, let me switch over screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Oh, you didn't see that. You didn't see that. Anyway, this is wired. They're going over the, more of the details, like the specs and everything. Like, the Joy-Con is actually gonna have an additional C button. This will make it a little bit more. So will also make an appearance on the new Switch controller and more. Oh wait a minute. Yeah, no, the regular Switch doesn't have this. But just talk about like how game chat, is if speak openly with noise canceling tech, cutting out background noise. Well, a new Nintendo Switch 2 camera, which I previously did discuss. But yeah, the is gonna have basically more. You're basically play this like a Xbox or PS5 controller, which but like we've always had these. I even bought a Xenoblade style game controller, but this is a little bit interesting. Some of these new features for the Switch I think are going to be very interesting to go over. Again, that's if I can even afford it. I got some stuff going on right now between car problems and having to get some dental work done. So you just gotta, again, it kind of goes back to prioritizing like what's more important, the things you want or the things you need to get done or you need to take care of. But let's see. The Twitch 2 Pro controller will see the addition of new rear mount paddle buttons, double GLGR. Makes more info to blah blah blah. Switch 2 isn't a huge overhaul at a glance. It does boost the Switch 2's output when connecting to a television. And of course 4K. You can get some of the best visuals. So you put that up on your TV or whatever. That's gonna look very nice. Yeah. Sorry, hold on one second. Okay, we're back. We're back. All right, where was I? Oh, hold on. There, let's get some background noise in here. Oh yeah, of course the gigabyte. The storage would be 256 gigabyte. 8 times more. than the original Switch. That's a lot of information, but of course, I think that's got to kind of compensate with some of the game features, because of just how big the you know basically the systems or whatever that you're gonna need, like Mario Kart World, or just like more open. And don't think I ever talked enough about Mario Kart World. The idea that instead of just racing, you can also just explore, like some like other role playing games. I think that is honestly something really just really fascinating. And again, that's probably like one really the only reasons why I would buy the Switch 2 is specifically just for Mario Kart World. And again, the fact that you can just you can complete the race for one map and just drive to the next race. I just find that really, really, really neat. But of course, I think one of the only downsides for the Switch 2, when it talks about the size of it, is you'll need a specific SD card to use on it, which that's just like a minor thing that I'm not too fussy about. But it will only support micro SD express format cards, and like just a little minor thing. I don't really think it's honestly not that big of a deal. But Mario Kart World, we already talked quite a bit about that. Donkey Kong Bonanza. I never actually really played a Donkey Kong game. That's one of the things on my bucket list I need to do before my time comes up at some point. But of course, me personally, I am a WWE fan. I do own a couple WWE games, so seeing stuff like this being brought over, me personally, that's a thumbs up in my book. Oop, sorry, I hit the mic. Elden Ring, Tarnish. Gosh, there's quite a few games I need to play, but of course, it's like you need to have the money to do that. But being an adult sucks because you have to prioritize. Let's say bills, able to have a roof over your head or eat, that type of thing. This is something, an unnamed 007 James Bond title in the works, like say like GoldenEye 07 and 64. That's honest. It's like, so this is a little exciting on my part. No release date even hinted for that one, but nor confirmation. Sorry, or it's a Switch 2 exclusive. But given Nintendo's long association with British super spy, thanks to the iconic GoldenEye 007, this thing will make an appearance on Nintendo's new console. If about this is true, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come out, or I would be surprised. Excuse me, if this didn't appear on the new console. Then of course you can play the Legend of Zelda series, Tears of the Kingdom, and this crossover effort only gets a winter release window. Okay. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. Unlike the earlier Hyrule Warrior games, this one looks to have a far more canonical importance to the Legend of Zelda series, with its events said to lead into Tears of the Kingdom. Again, another game series that I really need to get into, Legend of Zelda. For you guys, if you would recommend which Legend of Zelda game I should play first, I would really appreciate that. That is something on my bucket list I need to do. But backwards compatibility will be exclusive to the hardware, but let's see. Clarified how different types of games will work on Switch 2, splitting them into 3 categories. Switch 2. Then there are some original Switch games that will be backwards compatible with the Switch 2, but not all. Yeah, finally, there are Switch 2 Edition games, which will be original Switch 1 games receiving an upgrade for Switch 2. This latter category will see both physical and digital releases, so expect a fair few re-releases in the Switch 2's future, but users who already own one of the game can buy upgrade packs through Nintendo eShop. Okay. Yeah, this part I did not know about. It's gonna be interesting to find out which games are gonna be put on the Switch 2. And and again, there is a lot of other Switch Breath of the Wild, which boosts improved frame rate and HDR. Kirby and the Forgotten Land from 22 will be getting Star Cross. And Pokemon Legends. How are people saying it? Are they saying ZA? Wait, no. The most common one is ZA. Pokemon ZA. Sometimes the internet is a place for joy. And this is probably one oh god, I haven't played a Pokemon game since the original Diamond and Pearl. I mean, it's been years since I've played a Pokemon game. But and then finally, the GameCube. That's like I said, that's really the only thing me personally I'm excited for to see. And let's see. Soul Calibur 2 still has Link as a guest fighter, and Wind Waker will presumably have none of the changes. It's a service launches day one with Switch 2 and sees The Legend of Zelda. There's Soul Calibur and I forgot what the Soul Calibur games were. Hold on, I need to look that up. Sorry, again, Mike is in a terrible place. Soul Calibur, I forgot what. Oh, it's got the cursed soul, the cursed sword. What's the name of the sword again? Oh, that's the name of the sword is Soul Calibur, or Soul Edge. Well, I thought there was an entity within the sword. Algol or but Link's gonna be in the Soul Calibur games. That's actually a very interesting little tidbit. Okay. But I just wanted to have a short little stream to discuss the I'll get rid of the polls here. There we go. But I just wanted to do a short little stream today, just to kind of discuss some of the things with the Switch 2, and that's basically all I got. I guess the only other thing to discuss about is a reminder that tomorrow we will be continuing this weekend we will be continuing our Xenoblade X gameplay. I know I've been doing a lot of Xenoblade gameplay, but next week I will change that up a little bit. We'll do something else like a Pokemon Fireteam Rescue Red, or something under those lines. But I digress. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this stream, or those of you who are watching the VOD. VOD. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you watching on YouTube, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things on Twitch, hit that subscribe button. It always helps out. Everything is appreciated. And of course, you can follow me on on X D underscore. I forgot my own at D underscore Rex VT. That is on X. You can follow me there. And yep, that's all I got for you guys. Besides reminding you that life is a journey worth exploring. Catch you later.